Good evening, everybody. Welcome to SHN Sports presentation of Georgetown Eagle Baseball. We're live on the road tonight in Cedar Creek, Texas, at Cedar Creek High School, where the Eagles take on the Eagles in baseball here in District 23 play. Georgetown comes into the ball game 8-0 in district play after a big 11-5 win last night over the Hendrickson Hawks. The Cedar Creek Eagles come into the ball game 3-5 in district play. 9-15 on the year. They come in on a two-game losing streak, losing back-to-back ball games to the Elgin Wildcats. And so the Eagles on the road tonight to take on the Cedar Creek Eagles as the coaches meet at home plate with the umpires. Coach Brett Hoffman for the Cedar Creek Eagles and Coach Jordan Vieira alongside the team manager and Mr. Baseball, Jared Frimmel. All grass field here at Cedar Creek with the dirt infield. Down the lines, there are no measurements. We'll try to get those before the game starts. A little bit of a wind coming in from straight in from center field here in tonight's ball game as the sun sets to the behind us here, behind the home plate. And so it'll turn into a beautiful night for baseball, partly cloudy, but another beautiful night of high school baseball here in District 23. Scores last night as the rounds from last week's rainouts finished up. Georgetown was victorious over Hendrickson 11-6. Bastrop beat Conley 11-1. And Elgin, a squeaker over the Cedar Creek Eagles 1-0. So tonight, the matchups that you'll see in District: Georgetown here on the road at Cedar Creek, Eastview on the road at Hendrickson High School, Elgin on the road at Bastrop, and Conley plays at Pflugerville. And these teams will then flip on home field matchups on Friday night when Cedar Creek will come up to Georgetown and play game 2 of this two-game series between the Eagles and the Eagles. Here inside the press box tonight, the SHN broadcast booth brought to you by Matt Morrow. Matt's team dedicated to providing the best mortgage experience possible by offering easy-to-use mortgage tools, including our handy mobile app, competitive rates, and assistance from a certified mortgage advisor. Matt understands the local markets, has access to a wide variety of loan programs, and is ready to guide you through the process. Your family, your future, our focus. For your mortgage needs, remember Matt Morrow, borrow from Morrow. BorrowFromMorrow.com, NMLS 464148. And Georgetown, G-Town Lumber and Supply brings you the starting lineups for tonight's ballgame. G-Town Lumber and Supply, located 9400 Brown Lane in Austin, Texas, serves the general contractors, subcontractors, and even the do-it-yourselfers. Specializing in dimensional lumber, decking, siding, doors and windows, hand-hewn timbers, K-Dad Lumbers, and Corbell. Hometown service like none other is G-Town Lumber and Supply. Visit us at 9400 Brown Lane in Austin, Texas, or visit our website at gtownlumberandsupply.com. We'll go over the starting lineup for the Cedar Creek Eagles. Here to start tonight is chosen by head coach Brett Hoffman. For the Cedar Creek Eagles, batting first, number 2, playing second base, Ethan King. Batting second and playing shortstop, number 4, Reynaldo Borrego. Batting third and playing first base, number 25, Julian Hasso. Batting fourth and pitching, number 3, Joel Ornalis. Batting fifth and playing right field, number 16, Declan Ward. Batting sixth and catching, number 10, Roman Olvera. Batting seventh and playing third base, number 5, Michael Ibarbo. Batting eighth and playing left field, number 6, Arturo Rodriguez. And batting ninth and the designated hitter, number 11, Isaiah Cancino. So an OB, King, Borrego, Hasso, Ornalis, Ward, Olvera, Ibarbo, Rodriguez, and Cancino for the Cedar Creek Eagles. We'll take a timeout. We'll have the national anthem when we come back. We'll do the Georgetown Eagles starting lineup, brought to you by G-Town Lumber and Supply as well. Quick timeout, back with the national anthem and tonight's ballgame. You're listening to Georgetown Eagle Baseball live on SHN. back here live in the SHN broadcast booth, brought to you by Matt Morrow and Borrow from Morrow. We're on the road at Cedar Creek High School in Cedar Creek, Texas. A beautiful night for high school baseball. And the G-Town Lumber and Supply starting lineup for your Georgetown Eagles. Leading it off, playing center field, number 17, that's Devin Peterson. Batting second, the shortstop, number 2, Eli Hellman. Batting third, playing third base, number 4, that's Brady Peters. Batting fourth and on the mound tonight, number 21, that's Riley Leininger. Batting fifth and playing second base, the Mighty Mite, number 20, Talon Ball. Batting sixth and the designated hitter, number 11, Jackson Rainey. Batting seventh in left field, number 10, Andrew Nations. Batting eighth and the catcher, number 7, that is Chance Pernica. And batting ninth, the right fielder, number 8, Jacob Faltasek. So it'll be Peterson, Hellman, Peters in the top third, Leininger, Ball, Rainey in the middle third, Nations, Pernica, and Faltasek in the bottom third for your Georgetown Eagles. On the mound, Riley Leininger, the junior right-hander, will go tonight for your Eagles against the Cedar Creek Eagles here in Game 1. The Georgetown Eagles on the road, the white pants with the blue pinstripe down the side, and then in the beautiful Georgetown blue jerseys with the white numbers and white lettering on the front with the blue hats. The hometown Cedar Creek Eagles, cream-colored white uniforms with pinstripes, dark navy blue numerals and lettering on the front with the dark hats as they warm up to get ready for the first inning. Defensively for the Cedar Creek Eagles, I got to be careful which Eagles I call out. Cedar Creek defensively, Rodriguez in left, Reyes in center, Ward in right. Ibarbo at third base, Borrego at shortstop, King at second base, Hasso at first base. Behind the plate, Olvera, and on the mound is Ornelas. So stepping in here for the first pitch of the ball game will be number 17. That's Devin Peterson. He'll lead it off from the right side to lead off the ball game tonight. What a game Devin Peterson had last night for your Georgetown Eagles. He went 4 for 5 on the night, scored 2 runs, had 4 stolen bases on the night, and the junior center fielder steps in here to lead things off against the Cedar Creek Eagles here in District 23 play. Joel Ornelas on the mound for the Cedar Creek Eagles from the windup. The first pitch of the ball game, and it's up and in for ball 1. One ball, no strikes to Devin Peterson as he leads it off here. Sun setting off to the third base side of the field. So anything hit to the right side of the field in the outfield will be a challenge here to start it off. The 1-0 pitch. Peterson right back up the middle. Ornelas fills it on the mound. He'll take his time, throws it to first for the putout. 1-3 in the book to record the out of Peterson. And with 1 out here in the top of the first, that'll bring up the shortstop, the senior, number 2, Eli Hellman. Hellman will step in from the right side here in his first appearance in the ball game. Last night, Hellman hit by a pitch in the first inning, walked 1 time, and had a crucial base hit to score Peterson in the 6th inning. The first run of that 6th inning, which was all important, 4 runs to extend it back out for the Eagles. First pitch on the inside quarter for a called strike, 0-1 to count to Eli Hellman. Ornelas from the windup, 1 out here in the top of the first, 0-1 count to Hellman. Hellman back ready to go. Ornelas from the windup, the 0-1 pitch. A swing and a miss, strike 2. 0-2 now the count to Eli Hellman with Brady Peters, the third baseman, on deck. No balls, 2 strikes to Hellman. Ornelas gets this sign. The 0-2 pitch to Eli. Down in the dirt. 4-1, Olvera with the block there. 1-2 now, the count to Eli. One ball, 2 strikes to the senior shortstop. Ornelas ready to go. The 1-2 pitch. Hellman to swing and a miss, strike 3. And 2 quick outs here in the top of the first for the Georgetown Eagles. First strikeout of the ball game for Joel Ornelas. That'll bring up the senior third baseman, Brady Peters. With 2 outs and the base is empty here in the top of the first. Brady 0 for 3 last night. for the Eagles, but a couple of big defensive plays at third base. Nice sack bunt in the first inning. Helped get the Eagles on the board early in the ball game. The first pitch to Brady, low and outside for ball one. 1-0 the count. Riley Leininger waits on deck. Should Peters extend the inning for the Eagles? Peters ready to go. Ornelas from the windup, the 1-0 pitch. On the inside corner, called strike, and leaving it up. 1 ball and 1 strike. District 23 standings, Georgetown stands alone at the top, 8-0. Eastview and Elgin battle for second spot in district at 5-3. Hendrickson and Pflugerville 4-4, and then Cedar Creek and Bastrop both at 3-5. The 1-1 pitch misses up and in for ball 2. 2-1 the count now to Brady Peters. And then the Conley Cougars sit at the bottom of the district at 0-8. Tough 2-game series for Cedar Creek against the Elgin Wildcats. 2-1 pitch fouled off, back out of play. And that'll even up the count for Brady. 2 balls and 2 strikes here with 2 outs in the top of the first. Cedar Creek, part of the Bastrop Independent School District. Superintendent Barry Edwards, the principal here. Casey Stagman at Cedar Creek High School. Athletic director for Bastrop ISD is Elliot Allen. That's athletic coordinator Josh Thomas for Cedar Creek High School, and the athletic trainer. I'll get him in just a second so I don't mess up his name. The 2-2 pitch. That one's down in the dirt for ball 3, and now a full count to Brady Peters with the bases empty and 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. Brady Peters steps back in with a full count with 2 outs. An opportunity here to reach base with 2 outs. Ornelas from the windup, the full count pitch, up and in, ball 4, and a 2-out walk. Gets the first base runner on for the Eagles of Georgetown here in this ball game. That'll bring up the big left-handed hitting Riley Leininger. First walk of the ball game for Ornelas. And Leininger will step in from the left side with 2 outs and a runner at first base. Brady Peters will lead off there. He'll be held on by Hasso. Ornelas will move to the stretch now. He works from the first base side of the rubber in the stretch. He'll come set. The first pitch to Leininger misses up and away for ball 1. Pflugerville double-dipped Eastview in their series last week on the Tuesday, and then they played on Saturday. A couple of big upsets there to bring Eastview kind of back to the pack as they were sitting alone in the 2 spot. The 1-0 pitch fouled off by Leininger. That'll even up the count. 1 ball and 1 strike. The athletic trainer for Cedar Creek, Jeremy, I'm going to say Tarks, but it's spelled T-J-A-R-K-S. So I apologize to him if I mess it up. But he is the athletic trainer here. And then some student trainers. We'll go over all of that here in a minute for Cedar Creek High School. Ornelas gets the sign from Olvera. He'll come set from the stretch. The 1-1 pitch. Leininger sends a line shot into center field. But the center fielder Reyes ranges over to his right for about 3 or 4 steps. Makes the catch for out number 1. And after the top of the first, the Eagles have no runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 runner left on base. After half an inning, Georgetown 0, Cedar Creek coming up to bat. More Eagle baseball here in a moment on SHN. We move to the bottom of the first inning. The first inning brought to you by Matt Morrow. Matt's team dedicated to providing the best mortgage experience possible by offering easy-to-use mortgage tools, including our handy mobile app, competitive rates, and assistance from a certified mortgage advisor. Matt understands the local markets, has access to a wide variety of loan programs, and is ready to guide you through the process. Your family, your future, our focus. For your mortgage needs, remember Matt Morrow, Borrow from Morrow. For more information, visit borrowfrommorrow.com. NMLS 464148. The top three hitters in the Cedar Creek lineup will lead it off here in the bottom of the first for the Cedar Creek Eagles. That'll be King, Borrego, and Hasso. And they'll face off against the junior right-hander, Riley Leininger. Leininger gets ready to go after Pernica throws down. And now Georgetown defensively in the field for the Eagles. Nations in left field, Peterson in center, Faltasek in right field. In the infield, Peters at third, Hellman at short, Talon Ball at second, Fluid down at first base. Chance Pernica behind the plate, and Riley Leininger on the mound for the Georgetown Eagles. From the windup, the first pitch to Ethan King is fouled off, back out of play for strike one. Ethan King, the second baseman, leads it off here for the Cedar Creek Eagles. He's a senior, wearing number 2. He hits from the right side. He steps back in, ready to go. Leininger has the sign from the windup, the 0-1 pitch. This one just misses on the inside corner. 1-1 now the count to Ethan King. Reynaldo Borrego, the shortstop, on deck with Julian Hasso, the first baseman, in the hole. The 1-1 pitch over the head of King due to him ducking out of the way of that one. As he takes it for ball 2. 2-1 now the count for the senior second baseman, Ethan King. Leininger gets the sign from Pernica from the windup, the 2-1 pitch. Down the middle, and a check swing. He couldn't hold off on it. They check down to first base just to make sure. It's a 2-2 count now to Ethan King. Here in the bottom of the first, the Eagles 4 up, 3 down in the top of the first. The 2-2 pitch from Leininger, and a ball sent out into left center field, and that's going to be down for a leadoff base hit. King will circle first base, but he'll hold up there as Peterson gets it in quickly to Eli Hellman. And the Cedar Creek Eagles started off with a leadoff single here in the bottom half of the first inning. And that'll bring up the shortstop, number 4, Reynaldo Borrego. Borrego will step in from the left side, or the right side as well, as he looks down and gets the signs from Brett Hoffman, the head coach. The coaching staff here for the Cedar Creek Eagles. Head coach is Brett Hoffman. Assistant coaches on the staff, Connor Hamilton, Keith Perry, and Marcus Perez. I know they have split duties tonight as the JV and freshman teams, I believe, on the road up at Georgetown. Different teams playing different locations here. We're live here in Cedar Creek, Texas, Cedar Creek High School, for game 1 of this 2-game series between the Eagles of Georgetown and the Eagles of Cedar Creek. King, a nice size lead over at first base. Leininger from the stretch, a couple looks over, and now the first pitch to Borrego gets up and over the head of Borrego, back to the backstop, and that'll be a wild pitch. That'll allow King to move up to second base on that wild pitch. 1-0 the count to the shortstop, Reynaldo Borrego. First wild pitch of the ball game for either team. And now the Cedar Creek Eagles in business early here in the bottom of the first with a runner in scoring position and no outs. And a 1-0 count to the shortstop, Reynaldo Borrego. Leininger from the first base side of the rubber from the stretch will come set. The 1-0 pitch, squared a bunt as Borrego down the first baseline, but it's going to stay foul. Fluid let it go, and it goes foul for strike one. 1-1 the count now as King will retreat back to second base. So the beautiful game of small ball being played here by the Cedar Creek Eagles and Coach Hoffman. Borrego laid that one down. It stayed in the dirt baseline, but just stayed foul of the line. And so now 1-1 count, and Borrego back from through the right side as King leads off second base. Leininger a look in. Brady Peters playing up on the grass at third base. Fluid about the same at first base. Leininger a look back to second base. Now he'll turn towards second and make the throw. But King back in easily there at second base. Hellman doing a good job of keeping that one from heading into center field. 1-1 the count to Reynaldo Borrego, shortstop for the Cedar Creek Eagles. Borrego, the junior, squares the bunt again. The 1-1 pitch. King off and running. But Borrego fouls this one back to the screen, and now the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. So you got to expect he'll be swinging here. Bunt taken out of play with the 2 strikes. 1-2 to count with no outs here in the bottom of the first. Ethan King, a leadoff single to left center field for the Cedar Creek Eagles. Now up to second base on the wild pitch. Riley Leininger comes set in the stretch. The 1-2 pitch. A swing and a miss, strike 3. And Borrego down on strikes for out number 1 here in the bottom of the first. First strikeout of the ball game for Leininger. And that'll bring up the first baseman, number 25, Julian Hasso. Hasso will step in from the right side after he gets the signs there from Coach Hoffman down at third base. Leininger comes set. A look back at second base. The first pitch to Hasso. This is low and outside, ball 1. 1-0 the count to the first baseman, Hasso. Peterson shades towards right field. Out there in center field. Leininger comes set. A couple looks back at King. The 1-0 pitch. Misses low and inside, ball 2. 2-0 the count now to Julian Hasso, the senior first baseman. Student trainers for Cedar Creek, Dylan Doobie, probably Dubé. One of those two. Sorry, Dylan. Ethan Myers, Jenna Nagy. And 2-0 pitch. Catches the outside corner for a called strike. 2-1 to count now. Zayna Castillo Hernandez, the other student trainer for the Cedar Creek Eagles. Hasso steps back in. Leininger comes set from the stretch. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out here in the bottom of the first. King leads off second base. A look back from Leininger. The 2-1 pitch to Hasso. Swing and a miss, strike 2. And the count evens out at 2 balls and 2 strikes to Julian Hasso, the first baseman. Leininger comes set. A look back at King at second base. And now Hasso will take a time and step out to reset after a long break there as Leininger and Hellman back and forth behind King at second base. Now Hasso back in from the right side. Leininger comes set from the stretch. He'll look back to second base. Now the 2-2 pitch. Up and away for ball 3, and now a full count. And I did it again tonight. We're in the bottom of the first. I forget when I'm by myself. I apologize. Got to keep the board up. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Hasso here in the bottom of the first with 1 out. Leininger comes set. The payoff pitch. Misses low for ball 4. 1 out walk. Has runners on first and second now. For Cedar Creek. A leadoff single and then a strikeout of Borrego, and now a base on balls. Has runners on first and second with 1 out. And that'll bring up the pitcher, number 3, Joel Ornelas. He'll step in from the right side with runners on first and second and 1 out here in the bottom of the first. Leininger from the stretch comes set and a look back at second base. The first pitch to Ornelas. He pops it up down the right side. Faltasek on a long run, but this one is going to curl out of play into the bullpen down the first baseline for strike 1. 0-1 the count to Ornelas. Georgetown, the visitors, on the first base side tonight. And the hometown Cedar Creek Eagles in the third base dugout. As Ornelas steps back in for the Cedar Creek Eagles, Leininger will come set from the stretch. A look back at King at second base. And a spin and throw. And what a play there, but King dives back in safely as Leininger put that throw just on top of the bag, and Helmet slapped the tag on King. But he gets his hand back in there safely. 0-1 the count to Ornelas. Hasso down at first, Ethan King down at second base. One out here in the bottom of the first. Leininger comes set, a look back at second, the 0-1 pitch. Breaking pitch misses, low and away, ball one. So 1-1 the count now. And now a quick timeout will be called here by the Eagles of Georgetown. I got to be careful with the Eagles. Coach Payne, he'll make a mound visit to go talk to Riley Leininger. We're here in the bottom of the first inning. It's brought to you by Matt Morrow, borrowfrommorrow.com. For your mortgage needs, remember Matt Morrow, proud sponsor of Georgetown Eagle Baseball and SHN Sports. Also the sponsor of the Georgetown Eagle SHN broadcast booth, Matt Morrow, borrowfrommorrow.com. Quick visit from the pitching coach, Chad Payne. And now Leininger back on the mound, ready to go. 1 ball and 1 strike with 1 out to Joel Ornelas, the pitcher, batting in the cleanup spot for the Cedar Creek Eagles tonight. Leininger will come set in the stretch. Look back at King, the 1-1 pitch. And a ball popped up on the infield, but it's going to curl back out of play. And so now they count 1 ball and 2 strikes to Ornelas. Two-man umpiring crew here tonight on a beautiful night for baseball. Very few clouds out there. Pretty clear over the field here in Cedar Creek at the high school. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Ornelas. A long look in from Leininger. Ornelas will take time and step out. The MLB pitch clock has not been instituted at the high school level, as we see a lot of players stepping out, taking time, resetting. Ornelas back in. Leininger comes set. 1-2 the count. Look back at second. The 1-2 pitch. Breaking pitch hit into right field by Ornelas. Talon ball to second baseman. A few steps back on the grass. Makes the catch for out number 2. The runners stay put. So Ornelas is retired on a P4 for out number 2. And there's the best walk-up song of the night so far, as number 16, Declan Ward, the right fielder, walks up. And he'll step in from the right side. Ward will step in from the right side with 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. Runners on first and second for Cedar Creek. Trying to make some noise early here in the ball game. The first pitch to Ward. Check swing. Home plate umpire does not even ask for a check from the field umpire. He said no swing, so it's a ball. 1-0 the count to Declan Ward, with Roman Olvera, the catcher, on deck. Should Ward extend the inning for Cedar Creek. Ethan King led off the inning with a base hit to left center field. He's down at second base. Strikeout of Borrego, and then Hasso was walked. He stands at first. The 1-0 pitch is a little bit high and inside for ball 2. 2-0 now the count to Declan Ward, the right fielder. Senior right fielder. Where's number 16 for the Cedar Creek Eagles? Back in the box, ready to go. Leininger a look in. Gets the sign from the catcher, Pernica. Comes set. The 2-0 pitch. Fouled off down the first baseline towards the dugout. And now the count, 2 balls and 1 strike to the right fielder, Declan Ward. Georgetown Independent School District, a busy week around Georgetown as the Lady Eagles soccer team plays in the state tournament on Thursday at noon against Frisco, one of the Frisco schools. It'll be a battle there at Birkelbach Field on the campus of Georgetown. It's a host for the state soccer tournament. 2-1 count to Ward. Leininger, the 2-1 pitch. And a ball fouled off, back out of play off the right side, and that makes it a 2-2 count to Declan Ward here with 2 outs in the bottom of the first. And the 5A District 23 represented well on the boys' side of it as well. The Conley Cougars out of Pflugerville ISD are in the state tournament as well in the soccer tournament, the boys' team. So a couple of schools out of District 23 representing in the state soccer tournament. The 2-2 pitch. come back for the top of the second inning. Georgetown will bring up the 5, 6, and 7 hitters in the lineup. Talon Ball, Jackson Rainey, and Andrew Nations. Second inning brought to you by G-Town Lumber and Supply. G-Town Lumber and Supply, located 9400 Brown Lane in Austin, Texas, serves general contractors, subcontractors, and do-it-yourselfers, specializing in dimensional lumber, decking, siding, doors and windows, hand-hewn timbers, K-Dad Lumber, and corbels. Hometown service like none other, gtownlumberandsupply.com. Bring you second inning action as Talon Ball, the Mighty Mite, steps in from the right side against Joel Ornelas to lead off the top of the second. The first pitch, low and inside, ball one to Talon. Talon 2 for 4 last night in the ball game at Hendrickson. Steps back in, Ornelas from the windup. The 1-0 pitch, and Ball fouls it off of himself there in the batter's box and evens out the count at 1-1. The district track meet, I believe, is on Wednesday and Thursday, or Thursday and Friday, over at Eastview High School for District 23. All of the schools will be represented there at Eastview High School on the other side of town there in Georgetown, down 29. 1-1 pitch, up and in for ball two. To the second baseman, the junior Talon Ball. Georgetown has a baseball game tonight here at Cedar Creek, then back home Friday night. Cedar Creek will come to Georgetown for game 2, and then Georgetown will play a Saturday tilt. The 2-1 pitch catches the inside corner. Or a called strike, 2-2 the count now. Saturday will be on the road at 1 p.m. against the Vandergrift Vipers. So a busy week of baseball. Soccer, track, everything going on for the Georgetown Eagles. The 2-2 pitch, and Ball fouls it back out of play to stay alive in the at-bat. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ball steps back in. Ornelas from the windup. The 2-2 pitch. Talon Ball takes that one low and outside for ball 3, and now a full count here for the leadoff man for the Eagles here in the top of the second inning. No runs, no hits, no errors for the Eagles through the first inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors for the Cedar Creek Eagles in the bottom half. 1 hit by the leadoff man, King, but was left stranded at second base. Here in the top of the second, the leadoff man, Talon Ball, ready to go. The payoff pitch from Ornelas. Talon Ball will foul it back out of play and stay alive. Nice quality of bat here for the second baseman. 3-2 the count. Unofficially, 15 pitches thrown in inning number 1 by Joel Ornelas. A good inning there for Ornelas. Just gave up 1 base on balls, but got a nice strikeout there as well in the inning. From the windup, the payoff pitch to Talon Ball. And Ball takes it. Looked low and outside and called strike 3. Talon Ball down on strikes for out number 1. Second strikeout of the ball game by Joel Ornelas. Now it'll bring up the left-handed hitting designated hitter, the junior Jackson Rainey. He'll step in here with 1 out and the base is empty. Rainey had a big 3 RBI double last night to blow it open in the bottom of the, or top of the 6th inning for the Eagles at Hendrickson. First pitch from Ornelas, and Jackson Rainey continues his hot way. He puts it in the right center field gap. The right fielder can't get to it. Ward, it gets past him. Jackson Rainey around first, headed to second. He's going to circle second. He's headed to third. Here comes the cutoff throw to third, and it's going to be a stand-up triple for the designated hitter, Jackson Rainey. What a job there by the junior designated hitter. He keeps the hot bat going, and I tell you what, now we'll have to talk to Coach Vieira on Thursday night at the Golden Rule at the Coaches Show. We talked about this. He made a call in the game a week ago, and he put in Jackson Rainey to pitch hit. And Jackson comes up with a base hit, an RBI base hit in the 6th inning a couple of games ago, and then steps in the DH role last night and had several hits there at Hendrickson, where he went 3 for 4 on the night, and he continues his hitting way. So evidently, Coach saw something, pulled the trigger at the right time, and Jackson Rainey is doing his job as a designated hitter here for the Eagles. First hit of the ball game, a big one. And now the first pitch to Andrew Nations, the left fielder, is a swing and a miss, strike one. So now Ornelas from the stretch. Corners playing in, the whole infield playing in for Cedar Creek. And the 0-1 pitch misses for ball one. Bear with me, I promise I'll get caught up here. 1-0 the count. Now to Andrew Nations, the left fielder. Bats from the left side as well. Back in, Ornelas works from the first base side of the rubber here in the stretch. He'll come set. The 1-1 pitch to Andrew is outside for ball two. 2-1 the count now. To the junior left fielder, Andrew Nations. Nations 0 for 1 last night. Was walked, hit by a pitch, had a sacrifice fly, and grounded out. Steps back in, the 2-1 pitch from Ornelas. Misses low, ball three. So a 3-1 count here to Nations. But in case you missed it, the plug there, Thursday night, 6:45. The Golden Rule, 606 South Church Street. Host of the Georgetown Eagle Baseball Coaches Show, Coach Vieira. A couple of the players will join us. The 3-1 pitch from Ornelas, and Nations fouls it off back to the backstop, and now the count goes full. 3 balls and 2 strikes. 1 out here in the top of the second. Georgetown threatening with a 1-out triple by Jackson Rainey. Andrew Nations, an opportunity for a RBI here early on. If he can get a hit. Infield in on the grass for the Cedar Creek Eagles. Ornelas from the windup. The full payoff pitch fouled off back out of play. Andrew Nations stays alive here. Declan Ward had a beat on the ball there in right field, right center field gap, but just couldn't get to it. It gets almost all the way out to the wall. Jackson Rainey reached third base. The payoff pitch outside, ball 4. Now a 1-out walk has runners on the corners for the Georgetown Eagles. Second walk of the baseball game for Ornelas. And no one paying attention, and Andrew Nations heads down to second base. So now both runners in scoring position with 1 out. So a heads-up play there by Andrew Nations, and in steps the catcher, the senior, Chance Pernica. Chance 2 for 4 night last night. 2 RBI single in the second inning, and then he had a double in the 5th. Steps in here with runners on second and third with 1 out. First pitch. Across the left-handed batter's box line. Called a strike. Very wide strike zone here early on. 0-1 the count now to Pernica. Ornelas works from the windup. The 0-1 pitch to Chance. Swing and a miss, strike 2. 0-2 the count for the senior catcher with 1 out here in the top of the second. Jacob Faltasek, the right fielder, on deck for the Eagles. An 0-2 count with 1 out. Ornelas shakes off the first sign. Gets the pitch he likes from the windup, the 0-2 pitch. And Pernica sends it into center field. That's going to be another 2 RBI base hit for Chance Pernica, as Andrew Nations was about midway to third base by the time the pitch got to the plate. And Chance Pernica drove it right back up the middle for a 2 RBI single. And Georgetown takes an early 2-0 lead over Cedar Creek on that one. And now on to courtesy run for the catcher. Pernica will be number 9. That's Noah Boris.
Number 8, Jacob Faltasek.
Second hit of the ball game for the Eagles, a big one. The RBI single, 2 RBI single by Pernica. Georgetown 2-0 now over Cedar Creek as Faltasek steps in from the right side. The first pitch from Ornelas up and in for ball 1. 1-0 the count to the right fielder, Jacob Faltasek, the senior. Faltasek back in, ready to go. Ornelas comes set from the stretch. A look over at first base. The 1-0 pitch fouled off back to the screen. 1-1 the count now to Jacob. Devin Peterson, the leadoff man in the Georgetown lineup, on deck for the Eagles. Ornelas comes set from the stretch. Boris takes off, and now is going to get in a pickle as Ornelas threw it towards second base. And now running back towards first base, and Hasso will tag out Boris. So that one will go 1-4-3 on the pickoff for out number 2. And now Faltasek will step in with 2 outs. And the base is empty. 1-1 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 2. One ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the second. 2 runs across for Georgetown. As Ornelas works from the windup, now with the 1-2 count and the empty bases. The 1-2 pitch to Faltasek. Looked like Ornelas got a cleat kind of stuck there in the mound. That one winds up about 2 feet short of the plate. 2-2 now the count. Faltasek. And those kind of deals, you just hope he doesn't get himself hurt. Turn an ankle or anything. Ornelas seems to be fine. Now back on the mound. 2-2 count to Faltasek with 2 outs and the base is empty here in the top of the second inning. The 2-2 pitch, and Faltasek, a swing and a miss, strike 3. And the Eagles are down here in the top of the second, but not before they pick up 2 runs on 2 hits, no errors, and no runners left on base after 1.5 innings. Score 2-0. Georgetown leads it over Cedar Creek. G-Town Lumber and Supply, located 9400 Brown Lane in Austin, Texas, serves general contractors, subcontractors, and the do-it-yourselfers. They bring you second inning baseball here on SHN. Back with more baseball in just a minute. Head to the bottom of the second inning. Cedar Creek will bring up the 6, 7, and 8 hitters. Olvera, Ibarbo, and Rodriguez. Leininger on for his second inning of work. He'll face off against the third baseman, number 5, Michael Ibarbo. Leininger from the windup. The first pitch, a swing and a miss, strike 1. Correction to Roman Olvera. I'll figure it out here in just a second. 0-1 the count to Olvera. The 0-1 pitch popped up right side of the infield. And it looks like it's just going to get over the fence for a foul ball. Strike 2 to Olvera. So now an 0-2 count here to lead off the bottom of the second inning. Olvera, the catcher. Number 10 bats from the right side, steps back in. 0-2 the count. Olvera, the freshman, steps in, ready to go. Leininger, the 0-2 pitch, and a ball popped back out of play. And Olvera stays alive. No balls and 2 strikes here in his first appearance at the plate in the ball game. Georgetown with 2 runs in the top of the second inning has the 2-0 lead. The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3 for out number 1. Third strikeout of the ball game for Leininger. And now that will bring up Michael Ibarbo, the third baseman, with 1 out here in the bottom of the second. Ibarbo, number 5, a sophomore here for the Cedar Creek Eagles, steps in for the right side. The first pitch from Leininger, a swing and a miss, strike 1. Unofficially, 25 pitches thrown in inning number 1 by Leininger. He gave up a hit, struck out 2, walked 1, and had a wild pitch, but kept the Cedar Creek Eagles off the scoreboard. The 0-1 pitch fouled back out of play. 0-2 now the count to Ibarbo. The 0-2 pitch from Leininger fouled off back to the backstop. And Ibarbo stays alive in the at-bat. No balls and 2 strikes. 1 out here in the bottom of the second. 0-2 pitch. Not sure where that missed. That's a ball called by the umpire, 1-2. I don't think he liked the fact that Pernica held it there for a minute. 1-2 the count to Ibarbo. The 1-2 pitch. And a ball hit into right center field. Shallow. Talent ball can't get to it. Faltasek will keep it in front of him. And that'll be a 1-out single for Ibarbo. It appeared that it should have been 2 outs on a strikeout. Turns into a base hit and a base runner. With 1 out here in the bottom of the second, and that'll bring up number 6. That's Arturo Rodriguez, the left fielder. The sophomore steps in from the right side. Leininger will move over to the stretch now. Works from the first base side of the rubber as Ibarbo leads off first. The first pitch on the inside corner, called strike 1 to Rodriguez. 0-1 the count. Fluid at first base for the Eagles, holds on Ibarbo there. Leininger comes set in the stretch. And he'll throw over. Ibarbo dives back as the ball squirts out of the glove of Fluid. Ibarbo not far off there. Back safely at first base. 0-1 the count to Rodriguez, the left fielder, with the designated hitter, Isaiah Cancino, on deck for the Cedar Creek Eagles. The 0-1 pitch. Misses for ball 1. 1-1 now the count to Arturo Rodriguez. Leininger comes set. A look over at first base. The 1-1 pitch stays high for ball 2. 2-1 now the count to Rodriguez. Leininger comes set as Ibarbo leads off first. The 2-1 pitch stays high, ball 3, and now a 3-1 count to the left fielder, Arturo Rodriguez. With 1 out here in the bottom of the second inning. Leininger comes set as Ibarbo leads off. The 3-1 pitch. And that was in there for a called strike. Three balls, 2 strikes now to Rodriguez with 1 out. Ibarbo leads off first. Leininger comes set. The payoff pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. For out number 2. 4th strikeout of the ball game for Leininger, and that'll bring up the designated hitter, the number 9 hitter in the Cedar Creek lineup, number 11, Isaiah Cancino. The junior right-handed hitting DH steps in with 2 outs and a runner on first. The first pitch popped up back out of play for strike 1. 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. 0-1 the count to Isaiah. Ethan King, the leadoff batter for the Cedar Creek Eagles, on deck. Should Cancino extend the inning here. Ibarbo leads off first. Leininger comes set from the stretch. The 0-1 pitch. Outside corner, called strike 2. 0-2 the count. The 0-2 pitch down to the dirt. Nice scoop by Chance Pernica. Doesn't allow Ibarbo to move up. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count now to the DH, Isaiah. He'll step back in from the right side. Leininger a look in, a check at first. Now comes set in the stretch. A bigger lead by Ibarbo. The 1-2 pitch just misses on the inside corner for ball 2. 2-2 the count. Two balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. Ibarbo leads off first. The 2-2 pitch. And strike 3 called, and the inning comes to an end. 3 strikeouts by Leininger in the inning. His 5th of the ball game there. Gets the Cedar Creek Eagles down here in the bottom of the second. No runs on 1 hit, no errors, and a runner left on base after 2 complete innings. Georgetown 2, Cedar Creek nothing. Jared Frimmel getting the crowd going here. We'll take a quick break. G-Town Lumber and Supply, they brought you the second inning of Georgetown Eagle baseball. Visit them at 9400 Brown Lane in Austin, Texas, or visit their website at gtownlumberandsupply.com. Back here in just a moment with more Eagle baseball on SHN. To the top of the third inning here at Cedar Creek High School. Nathaniel Funk, your Leander Georgetown Edward Jones Financial Advisor, located at 1640 Highland Falls Drive, Suite 801 in Leander, Texas, brings you a third inning action of Eagle baseball. Learn how he can help you with all your financial goals. Visit edwardjones.com/Nathaniel Funk for more. And now the top of the lineup up again here in the top of the third for the Eagles. Peterson, Hellman, and Peters. Devin Peterson steps in to lead it off. First pitch swinging, drives a fly ball into right field. Declan Ward ranges over to his left and up about 3 steps and makes the catch for out number 1. F9 in the book to retire Peterson. And that will bring up number 2, the shortstop, Eli Hellman. Eli 0 for 1 in the ball game. Struck out in the first inning. Steps in here with 1 out. And the base is empty in the top of the third. Joel Ornelas still on the mound for the Cedar Creek Eagles. First pitch up and in, ball 1 to Eli. Through 2 innings, Ornelas has allowed 2 hits, 2 runs, struck out 3, walked 2. From the windup, the 1-0 pitch to Eli. Outside corner called strike 1. 1-1 now the count to the senior shortstop, Eli Hellman, with Brady Peters on deck. Ornelas gets the sign from the windup. The 1-1 pitch. Hellman takes it on the outside corner for a called strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes the count now. From the windup, the 1-2 pitch. Hellman takes that inside pitch and puts it somewhere near the parking lot. Foul down the third baseline. Stays alive in the at-bat. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Ornelas ready to go from the windup. The 1-2 pitch. And Hellman fouls it back out of play to stay alive in the at-bat. Nice battle here with a 1-2 count. Special thanks to Coach Hoffman and the staff here at Cedar Creek. Beautiful night inside the broadcast booth. We love it. The AC going. It's a beautiful night for baseball. I'm sure appreciative of the space here at Cedar Creek High School. It's brought to you by Morrow from Morrow, Matt Morrow. The 1-2 pitch. A ball driven down the left field line. A high fly ball. Rodriguez on the run, and he'll settle under it for out number 2. F7 in the book to retire Hellman. And that'll bring up the third baseman, number 4, Brady Peters. With 2 outs here in the top of the third. Peters walked in his first plate appearance back in the first inning. Steps in here in the same situation. 2 outs and the base is empty in the top of the third. Ornelas ready to go from the windup. The first pitch to Brady Peters. And Peters sends it into center field. The center fielder, Pete Reyes, can't get to it in time, and it's going to fall for a 2-out single for Brady Peters. So with a 2-out single, the third hit of the ball game for Georgetown. Gives them another base runner here in the third inning.
Number 21, Riley.
And that'll bring up the pitcher, number 21, Riley Leininger. He's 0 for 1 of the ball game, lined out to center field. Back in the first inning, steps in here with a runner on first and 2 outs. Morales moves to the stretch, a look at first base. The first pitch to Leininger. Leininger sends it into right field, and it's back-to-back 2-out singles. That'll move up Brady Peters to second base, and a nice hit there by Leininger on the first pitch he sees from Morales. And that's back-to-back singles with 2 outs to have runners at first and second base. The fourth hit of the ball game for Georgetown. Here comes the other half of the Twin Towers, Cord Lawrence on to run for the pitcher, Riley Leininger. Speaking of the Twin Towers, they activate here. I tell you what, I asked Talon about it last night. Talon Ball steps up to the plate, and his other Twin Tower, Cord Lawrence, courtesy runner, down at first base for the Eagles. 2 outs here in the top of the third inning as Talon Ball steps in. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game with a strikeout back in the second inning. That's runners on first and second with 2 outs here in the top of the third. First pitch, the ball sends it into center field. Reyes on the run, and he's can't get to it in time, and that's gonna be a 2 RBI double. It's over the head of Reyes. The Mighty Mite strikes again. 2 more RBIs for the big guy from second base. As he strolls into second base. A 2 RBI double for Talon Ball. That'll score Peters and Cord Lawrence. 4-0 now. The Eagles lead it on the 2 RBI double by Talon Ball. Jackson Rainey steps in. He's 1 for 1 of the ball game. He had a triple in the second inning. Steps in here with a runner at second. 2 outs. First pitch misses for a ball. 1-0 the count to Jackson Rainey. Ornelas, a look back at second base. He'll turn, but no throw as Talon Ball slides back in safely. A 1-0 pitch misses low and outside. Ball 2 now to Jackson Rainey. Andrew Nations, the left fielder, on deck for the Eagles. Should Rainey be able to extend the inning here in the top of the third? Ornelas comes set, a look back at second base. The 2-0 pitch, and Rainey pops it up down the left field line. Some room in the foul territory, and a nice play there by Ibarbo as he makes the catch up against the fence for out number 3. P5 in the book to retire Rainey for the third out of the inning, but not before the Eagles do damage here in the top of the third. 2 runs on 3 hits, no errors, and a runner left on base after 2.5 innings. 4-0 your score. Georgetown leads it over Cedar Creek. Quick timeout. More Eagle baseball in a moment on SHN. We go to the bottom of the third. 4-0. Georgetown leads it over Cedar Creek. Thanks to a 2-out, 2 RBI double by Talon Ball. Nathaniel Funk, your Leander Georgetown Edward Jones Financial Advisor, located at 1640 Highland Falls Drive, Suite 801 in Leander, Texas, brings you a third inning action of Eagle baseball. Learn how he can help you with all your financial goals. Visit edwardjones.com/Nathaniel Funk for more. First pitch to the leadoff batter, Ethan King, misses for a ball here in the top of our bottom of the third inning. Leininger's 1-0 pitch in there for a called strike. 1-1 the count. Ethan King 1 for 1 of the ball game. Singled to lead things off in the bottom of the first for the Cedar Creek Eagles. Steps back in, the 1-1 pitch. Breaker across the inside corner for a called strike. And now Leininger ahead in the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Ethan King. The 1-2 pitch. Another breaker popped up on the infield. Talon Ball will venture back into the grass behind second base and make the catch for out number 1. P4 in the book to retire Ethan King. And that'll bring up Reynaldo Borrego, the number 2 hitter in the Cedar Creek lineup. The shortstop, 0 for 1 in the ball game, is Borrego. He struck out swinging back in the first inning. One of the 5 strikeout victims for Leininger. Leininger from the windup. Borrego from the right side. The first pitch popped up on the infield, but it's going to crawl out of play for strike 1. 0-1 the count now. To the shortstop, Reynaldo Borrego. Back in, ready to go. The 0-1 pitch, breaking pitch. A swing and a miss, strike 2. Leininger now in a groove here. Start the bottom of the third. Borrego back in. The 0-2 pitch. And the bender bounces in behind a catcher Pernicka for a ball 1. 1-2 the count. 1 out here in the bottom of the third. The base is empty. Georgetown with 2 runs in the second, 2 runs in the third. Has a 4-0 lead so far. The 1-2 pitch. Misses low and outside. Ball 2. 2-2 count now to the shortstop. Reynaldo back in from the right side. Leininger ready to go. The 2-2 pitch. The big bender stays up and in for ball 3. So Borrego takes an 0-2 count, is able to push it to a full count now. 3 balls, 2 strikes with 1 out here. Leininger from the windup. The payoff pitch. Inside corner, called strike 3. Borrego strikes out for the second time in the ball game. 6 strikeout on the night for Riley Leininger. And that will bring up the first baseman, number 25, Julian Hasso. He walked in his first plate appearance back in the first inning, was left stranded there. And he takes the first pitch, hits it out towards second. And Talon Ball short hops it and goes under his glove into right field. Hasso will reach first base on the error by Talon Ball. First error of the ball game. It'll be the 3rd inning in a row for the Cedar Creek Eagles to have a runner on base. And that'll bring up the cleanup hitter, the pitcher, Joel Ornalis. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game. Popped out to the second baseman back in the first inning. Steps in here with 1 out, a runner, or 2 outs, and a runner on first base. Leininger to the stretch. The first pitch. The breaker down in the dirt. Nice block by Pernicka. 1-0 the count to Ornalis. Leininger comes set. A 1-0 pitch. A swing and a miss. Strike 1. 1-1 count to Joel Ornalis, the pitcher for the Cedar Creek Eagles tonight. The junior right-hander back in from the right side, ready to go. Leininger comes set. The 1-1 pitch. Ground ball hit out towards third. Peters cuts it off. He'll fire across the diamond in time. Nice play there by Fluid to catch that one. And the Eagles retire Cedar Creek here in the bottom of the third. No runs on no hits, no errors, or 1 error, and 1 runner left on base after 3 complete. Georgetown 4, Cedar Creek nothing. More Eagle baseball after this on SHN. go to the top of the fourth inning. Georgetown with a 4-0 lead over Cedar Creek. And Andrew Nations will lead off the top of the fourth. Back here in the SHN broadcast booth, brought to you by Matt Morrow, borrow from Morrow. Matt's team dedicated to providing the best mortgage experience possible by offering easy-to-use mortgage tools, competitive rates, and assistance from a certified mortgage advisor. Matt understands the local markets, has access to a wide variety of loan programs, and is ready to guide you through the process. Your family, your future, our focus. For more information, visit borrowfrommorrow.com, NMLS 464148. Andrew Nations, the left fielder, steps in. He walked back at his first time at the plate back in inning number 2 and leads off the top of the fourth here against Ornelas. The first pitch, Nations goes for the last second bunt attempt and missed it for strike one. 0-1 the count to the left fielder, Andrew Nations. Nations steps back in from the left side. Ornelas from the windup on it for his fourth inning of work. The 0-1 pitch. Nations grounds it out between first and second. The second baseman, King, over for it. They can't get a grip on it, and that allows Andrew Nations to reach first base. And that'll be the first error of the ball game for Cedar Creek.
Number 7, Chance.
And the Eagles continue the same way that Cedar Creek has been. They've had at least one base runner on in every inning so far. And Nation leads it off there as he's on first base with no outs. That'll bring up the catcher, Chance Pernicka. He's 1 for 1 in the ball game. First pitch, up and in, ball 1. Andrew Nations takes off for second base, and he'll be in there with the stolen base. So Georgetown with their first stolen base of the night. A 1-0 count to Chance Pernicka with Nations down at second base now. The 1-0 pitch stays up for ball 2. 2-0 the count to Pernicka. The 2 RBI single back in the second opened up the scoring in the ballgame by Pernicka. The 2-0 pitch misses inside for ball 3. 3-0 now the count to the senior catcher. Ornelas comes set from the stretch. The 3-0 pitch. Pernicka lays off and takes it for a called strike. 3-1 now the count. Ornelas comes set. The 3-1 pitch. Pernicka will take it for ball 4. So now the first 2 men aboard here in the top of the fourth. And that'll bring out a courtesy runner here for the catcher, Chance Pernicka. And that'll be number 9, Noah Boris. Third walk issued by Ornelas, and that'll bring up the right fielder, number 8, Jacob Faltasek. Faltasek steps in from the right side, 0 for 1 in the ball game, struck out in the second inning. Steps in here, squares around the bunt, the pitch, pulls it back and takes it. The throw down to third base, but the tag not in time, and Andrew Nations steals third, while Boris steals second on the double steal. A good play by the third baseman, Ibarbo, there to get the throw out of the dirt, but the tag a little late there allows the double steal to be effective, and now runners on second and third. And an 0-1 count to Jacob Faltasek with no outs and runners on second and third. Ornelas stays in the stretch. The 0-1 pitch to Faltasek misses high for a ball. 1-1 the count now. Sun setting, beautiful, beautiful night of high school baseball here in Central Texas as Joel Ornelas comes set. The 1-1 pitch to Faltasek, ground ball, and it gets through into left field with the infield playing up, and that's going to be a 2 RBI single for Jacob Baltasek. As Noah Boris comes around from second base, Nation scores from third, and the Eagles put up 2 more. Georgetown leads it 6-0 here in the top of the 4th. Great piece of hitting there by the senior right fielder, Jacob Baltasek.
Number 17, Devin Peterson.
And that takes us back to the top of the lineup. Devin Peterson, the center fielder, steps in. He's 0 for 2 in the ball game. Baltasek moves up to second base on the throw home by the left fielder Rodriguez. So now a runner in scoring position at second. A 1-0 count to Devin Peterson. The 1-0 pitch up and in, and Peterson moves out of the way. Commonly known as a little chin music. Devin gets out of the way. 2-0 count now to the junior center fielder. With no outs here in the top of the 4th. Georgetown 2 across here in the 4th so far to make it a 6-0 lead over Cedar Creek. Ornelas, the 2-0 pitch, catches the inside corner for a called strike. 2-1 the count now. Ornelas comes set, the 2-1 pitch down to the dirt. Good block by the catcher Olvera to keep the runner Baltasek down at second base. And now a 3-1 count to the center fielder Devin Peterson. Eli Hellman on deck. Brady Peters in the hole for the Eagles. Still no outs here in the top of the 4th. Olvera comes set. Correction, Ornelas comes set. And the 3-1 pitch misses somehow for ball 4. So the 4th walk of the ball game issued by Ornelas. Has runners at first and second for the Eagles here with no outs. And that'll bring up Eli Hellman. Eli's 0 for 2 in the ball game. Struck out in the 1st, flew out to the left field in the 3rd inning. Steps in here with runners on first and second and no outs. He squares around to bunt. First pitch, and he'll pull it back. The double still in effect. But this time, Jacob Baltasek is going to be cut stealing, trying to steal third. 2-5 on the cut stealing there for the first out of the inning. And Devin Peterson will move up on the double still. He'll get second base. So the first out of the inning, a 1-0 count to Eli Hellman. Eli pops up the pitch on the right side of the infield. Hasso in foul territory will make the catch for out number 2. P3 in the book to retire Hellman. That'll bring up the senior third baseman, number 4, Brady Peters. He's 1 for 1 in the ball game. Walked in the 1st, singled, and scored a run in the 3rd. Steps in here with 2 outs and runner on second base. And Devin Peterson. The first pitch from Ornelas sit right back up the middle into center field, and that's going to be an RBI single for Brady Peters. And he's going to chug in for second base and get underneath the tag there. So an RBI for Brady Peters on that base hit. Scores Devin Peterson from 3rd.
Number 21, Riley Leininger.
So they change spots there. 7-0 the score now as Georgetown's put up 3 here in the top of the 4th inning. Riley Leininger will step in. Riley's 1 for 2 on the ball game. A line out the 1st, a single and a run scored in the 3rd inning. First pitch to Leininger. And it's not going to be a pitch. A balk was called. So the count will remain 0-0. No balls, no strikes. But that'll move Brady Peters up to third base on the balk call by the field umpire. So no pitch on the play, moves the runner up. And now the first pitch to Leininger, low and inside for ball 1. I want to know the count to Leininger here in the top of the 4th. Ornelas from the windup, the 1-0 pitch. Misses outside for ball two. 2-0 now the count. To the junior left-handed hitting Leininger. From the windup, the 2-0 pitch. Leininger hits it out towards second. The second baseman keying up with it. His throw is wide of first base. Leininger is going to move up to second base. And Brady Peters will score the 8th run of the ball game on the error by King at second base. So Leininger reaches on the E4. Peters comes in to score on that same error. And the Eagles move the lead up to 8 now, 8-0. And that'll bring up number 20. That's Talon Ball. Talon 1 for 2 in the ball game. Struck out looking in the second, and a 2 RBI double in the third inning. Takes the first pitch for a called strike. 0-1 the count now. To the second baseman, Talon Ball. The 8th hitter to come to the plate here in the 4th for the Eagles. Ornelas, the 0-1 pitch, misses just low. 1-1 now the count to Talon Ball. Jackson Rainey waits on deck. Should Talon Ball be able to extend the inning for the Eagles? Leininger leads off second. Talon sends it into left center field. The center fielder Reyes on the run, and he'll get there and make the catch for out number 3. F8 in the book to retire Talon Ball, but not before the Eagles pick up 4 runs in the inning. They do it on 2 hits, 2 errors, and 1 runner left on base. After 3.5, 8-0. Georgetown leads it over Cedar Creek. More baseball in a moment here on SHN. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Cedar Creek will send up the 5, 6, and 7 hitters in the lineup. Declan Ward, Roman Olvera, and Michael Ibarbo. Declan Ward 0 for 1 in the ball game. Leininger. First pitch to Ward, fouled off back behind the plate for a strike. 0-1 the count. Ward struck out looking back in the first inning. 0 for 1 in the ball game. Leininger from the windup. The 0-1 pitch. Nice. Dirty, nasty breaking ball. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Beautiful pitch there by Leininger. Now ahead in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. The 0-2 pitch. Bender on the inside corner, called strike 3. For out number 1. Riley Leininger records his 7th strikeout of the ball game. Now it'll bring up the catcher, number 10, Roman Olvera. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game. Struck out swinging in the second inning. Steps in here with 1 out. And the base is empty here in the bottom of the 4th. First pitch misses low and outside. Ball 1. Low pitch from Leininger on the outside corner. Called strike one. 1-1 the count. To Olvera. The 1-1 pitch. In there for a called strike two. I think we can establish he likes a lower strike zone for this umpire. The 1-2 pitch from Leininger. Outside corner. Nice frame job by Pernica, but he can't get the call, and the count goes 2-2 now to the catcher, Roman Olvera. Olvera back in the box from the right side. The 2-2 pitch. Outside corner, swing and strike three. We're out number two. The 8th strikeout of the ball game now for Riley Leininger. And the Eagles have 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Michael Ibarbo, the third baseman, steps in. He's 1 for 1 on the ball game. 1 of 2 hits on the ball game for the Cedar Creek Eagles. Takes the first pitch for a strike, 0-1 the count. Singled in the second and was left stranded at first base. Steps in here with 2 outs and the base is empty. The 0-1 pitch. Breaking pitch just misses for ball 1. 1-1 the count now to Ibarbo. Leininger gets the sign from the windup. The 1-1 pitch. Outside corner called strike 2. 1-2 the count now to the freshman catcher. Correction, that was Olvera. This is Ibarbo, the sophomore third baseman. He'll take the 1-2 pitch. Low for a ball, 2-2 now the count. Leininger ready to roll. The 2-2 pitch. Just a bit outside. Now the count goes full to the third baseman, Ibarbo. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Sounds of nature in the background there with the 18-wheeler rolling by on Highway 71. The payoff pitch. Called strike 3. Ibarbo down on strikes, and Leininger strikes out the side. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. They make that the 9th strikeout of the ball game for Leininger. And the 4th inning comes to a close. And the Georgetown Eagles lead it 8-0 over the Cedar Creek Eagles. More baseball continues after this on SHN. As we come back to the top of the 5th here in the SHN broadcast booth, brought to you by Matt Morrow and Borrow from Morrow. We go to the bullpen for the first time in the ball game. The Cedar Creek Eagles. Nathaniel Funk, your Leander Georgetown Edward Jones financial advisor, located at 1640 Highland Falls Drive, Suite 801 in Leander, Texas, brings you this call to the bullpen. Learn how he can help you with all your financial goals. Visit edwardjones.com/Nathaniel Funk. Now on the mound for the Cedar Creek Eagles will be the junior right-hander, number 12, Anthony Hockman. He'll come in relief for the Cedar Creek Eagles here in the top of the 5th inning. In 4 innings, Ornelas allowed 7 hits, 8 runs, struck out 3, and walked 4. And now Hockman will take over on the mound here in the top of the 5th inning for Cedar Creek. Here in the top of the 5th inning, Jackson Rainey will lead us off here in the top of the 5th. The 6, 7, and 8 hitters due up for the Eagles of Georgetown. Rainey, Nations, and Pernica. Jackson steps in, 1 for 2 on the night, a triple in the second inning and scored a run, and then popped out to the third baseman back in the third inning. Lead it off here against Hockman. First pitch is outside for a ball. 1-0 the count. Time to catch up on the board. 1 ball and no strikes to Rainey. Here in the top of the fifth, the 1-0 pitch misses low and outside, ball 2. Make sure to join us live from the Golden Rule Thursday night, 6:45, the Eagle Baseball Coaches Show. Live at 606 South Church Street in Georgetown. The 2-0 pitch misses for ball 3. 3-0 the count to Jackson Rainey. Coach Jordan Vieira and I will talk Georgetown baseball. A couple of Eagle baseball players will be there as well to join us live at the show. Come join us there on the patio. A great meal, great time at the Golden Rule. The 3-0 pitch. In there for a called strike. Jackson thought he was headed down to first base. He'll step back in. 3-1 to count now. Rainey, the left-handed hitting designated hitter, steps back in, ready to go. Hockman works from the windup. Here in the top of the fifth, the 3-1 pitch. Rainey takes this one down in the dirt for ball 4. So the leadoff man aboard here for the Eagles in the top of the fifth inning. First walk issued by Hockman, 5th of the ball game by Cedar Creek pitching. And that'll bring up the left-handed hitting left fielder Andrew Nations. He's 0 for 1 in the ball game. Walked and scored a run in the second. Reached on an error and scored a run in the 4th inning. And Andrew will step in here with no outs and a runner down at first base. Rainey leads off first base as Hasso holds him on there. Hockman moves to the stretch. Works from the first base side of the rubber. Comes set. The 1-0 or the first pitch to Nations is a swing and a miss, strike 1. 2 Nations. 0-1 the count here in the top of the fifth. 2 runs in the second, 2 in the third, 4 in the fourth for the Georgetown Eagles. And they lead it 8-0 here in the top of the fifth. Hockman comes set. The 0-1 pitch outside for a ball. The count evens up at 1-1. And then Friday night, I'll get it right one time, but coach his line, come be loud, wear blue. Back home in the friendly confines of Eagle Field at Georgetown High School. Cedar Creek will come in to play game 2 of this best of 2 series. Now in UIL baseball this year, back-to-back games between each team. Instead of seeing each district opponent one time and then going back through, they play each other in 2 consecutive ball games. And this week, Cedar Creek and Georgetown do battle here tonight. And then Friday night at Georgetown. The 1-1 pitch popped up on the infield by Nations. The third baseman, Ibarbo, calls for it and makes the catch for out number 1. P5 in the book to retire Andrew Nations. And that'll bring up the catcher, number 7, Chance Pernicka.
Number 7, Chance Pernicka.
Jackson Rainey remains down at first base. Pernicka, 1 for 1 on the night. A 2 RBI single in the second and walked in the 4th inning. Steps in here from the right side. Hockman remains in the stretch with the runner on first. Rainey, a big leadoff and a throw over. But Rainey dives back in safely there at first base. Rainey leads off. Hasso holds him on. Hockman comes set. First pitch, and Pernicka grounds it down towards third. Ibarbo fields it, but his throw over the head of Hasso, and that'll go down the right field line a little bit, and that'll allow Jackson Rainey to move all the way to third and Pernicka to advance to second base. So now runners at second and third as they reach on the error. E5 in the book allows the runners to move up to second and third.
Number 8, Jacob Faltersek.
And now Jacob Faltersek will step in with 1 out and runners on second and third here in the top of the fifth. Noah Boris heads down to second base to courtesy run for the catcher, Chance Pernicka. At this point, Boris, if he were to score, would be the potential game-winning run if the Eagles can hold Cedar Creek scoreless in the bottom of the fifth. The first pitch to Faltersek is low and inside, ball 1. Jacob 1 for 2 on the night. struck out swinging in the second. Then had a 2 RBI single in the fourth before being caught stealing, trying to steal third base. Steps in here, 1 ball and no strikes. And Faltasek down the left field line, almost takes the head of Jackson Rainey with it. But it's just foul. 1-1 the count now to Faltasek. Jackson Rainey did a great matrix move there to get out of the way of that one. Returns to the bag. Hockman will step off. Boris has a huge lead at second base. No one close as the infield is in for Cedar Creek here. Want to cut the runs down and keep those runs off the board. Hockman works from the windup. 1-1 count with 1 out here in the top of the fifth for Jacob Faltasek. The 1-1 pitch. Faltasek lays off and takes it in the dirt for ball 2. Two and 1 the count. Jacob and I talked last night after the ball game. Told him I'd never seen someone have the trifecta of flying out 3 times in a game to each outfield position. He's making good contact, but he just couldn't get anything to drop. And tonight, the big 2 RBI single got things on track for him here in the ball game. A 1 for 2 on the night as he gets ready here for the 2-1 pitch from Hockman. Faltasek a swing and a miss, and the count evens up at 2-2. Jacob, one of the numerous multi-sport athletes at Georgetown High School here on the baseball team. The starting linebacker for the football team. Noah Boris, the runner down at second, was a starting quarterback in about the 3rd game of the season after Tucker Griffin got hurt. The 2-2 pitch, the breaking pitch just misses low and outside, and now the count goes full on Jacob Faltasek here with 1 out and runners on second and third. Cord Lawrence on the state elite wrestling team, finished 3rd in the state wrestling this year, or Cord Lawrence, Talon Ball, finished 3rd in state in wrestling, another multi-sport athlete. The 3-2 pitch misses low, ball 4. And now the base is full of Georgetown Eagles here with 1 out in the top of the 5th. Second walk issued by Hockman. And this will bring up Devin Peterson. Peterson 0 for 2 on the night, a ground out and a fly out. Reached on a base on balls in the 4th inning, stole the base and scored a run. Steps in here with the bases loaded and 1 out. Hockman back from the wind up. The first pitch to Peterson just misses for a ball. 1-0 the count to the junior center fielder, Devin Peterson. With Eli Hellman, the shortstop, on deck for Georgetown. Hockman from the windup, the 1-0 pitch. Peterson checks swing, ground ball, and it's going to get between the pitcher and shortstop, and it's going to be an infield single, and that'll score Jackson Rainey from third base, and all the runners are safe. A little, infield single for Devin Peterson, an RBI for Peterson, and that'll bring up Eli Hellman. Noah Boris will move up to third base as he runs for Pernica. Faltasek up to second base. Peterson down to first base on the base hit. The first pitch high for a ball. 9-0 now. Georgetown leads it over Cedar Creek. Eli Hellman steps in. 0 for 3 on the night. Hockman from the windup. The 1-0 pitch to Eli. Misses inside for ball 2. 2-0 the count. Hockman from the windup. The 2-0 pitch. And Hellman slaps it foul off the third base dugout. 2-1 now the count to Eli. Hellman will step back in from the right side with Brady Peters waiting on deck for the Eagles. Hockman from the windup. The 2-1 pitch. And Eli hits it out into left field. That'll be an RBI base hit, and that's going to score 2 runs. The throw into third base. What a throw there to get Devin Peterson. Well, maybe not. Let's see here. So Rodriguez couldn't handle the ball initially, and Devin Peterson circled first or second base, headed to third, and Rodriguez threw it a dime to Ibarbo at third base, and he tags Peterson out. The ball comes out of his glove, but the umpire is saying it's after the play, not with the play, and now Ibarbo being checked out. Looked like when Peterson slid in, he may have slid into his leg, so you hope Ibarbo's all right. Kind of walks it off there as Coach Hoffman out to check on him along with the training staff. Now he'll trot down the third baseline. Don't want to see anybody hurt. It looks like Ibarbo's going to be okay. Good sign there for the third baseman. But for the Eagles, 2 runs come across on the RBI single by Eli Hellman.
Number 4, Brady Peters.
Reset it all as Eli's down at first base. 2 more runs for the Eagles. And now 2 outs in the inning. That'll bring up Brady Peters. He's 2 for 3 in the ball game. He steps in here to face off against Hockman. Hockman will move to the stretch with the runner down at first base. Hellman leads off there. The first pitch to Peters. He'll take it low for a ball. 7-5 on the putout of Peterson at third base from Rodriguez to Ibarbo to put that one in the book. 7-5 on the putout for out number 2. The 1-0 pitch downstairs for ball 2. 2-0 now the count to the third baseman, Brady Peters. 2 for 2 on the night. He walked in the first inning, and he's got 2 singles back in the third and the fourth inning. A throw over to first base, and Eli back standing there at first base. Hockman comes set. The 2-0 pitch in there for a called strike. 2-1 the count to Brady Peters. 11-0. Georgetown leads it. 2 outs here in the top of the fifth with Hellman at first base. On Hellman's base hit to left field, Pernica, or Noah Boris, running for Pernica, scored along with Faltasek. The 2-1 pitch sails high for ball 3, and now a 3-1 count to Brady Peters with 2 outs here in the top of the fifth. The 3-1 pitch on the outside corner, called strike 2. Now a full count to Brady Peters here in the top of the fifth with 2 outs. A runner at first base. The payoff pitch. And he said he didn't check his swing. Brady Peters called out for the strikeout for out number 3. And that'll bring the top of the fifth to a close for Georgetown. But they get 3 runs on 2 hits, 1 error, and 1 runner left on base after 4.5 innings. 11-0, Georgetown leads it over Cedar Creek. We'll be back with more Eagle baseball in a moment here on SHN. Back here for the bottom of the 5th inning, and it's another Nathaniel Funk, Edward Jones call to the bullpen. Nathaniel Funk, your Leander Georgetown Edward Jones financial advisor, located at 1640 Highland Falls Drive, Suite 801 in Leander, Texas, brings you the call to the bullpen. Learn how he can help you with all your financial goals. Visit edwardjones.com/Nathaniel Funk. And in comes the senior right-hander, Kyle Ropolo. Comes in to relieve for Riley Leininger and the Georgetown Eagles here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Riley Leininger, his line through 4 innings, if I've got it right. He's 4 innings pitched, allowed 2 hits, struck out 9, walked 1, and had 1 wild pitch. A great night on the mound for Riley Leininger, and in comes Ropolo to close it out, to try to close it out for Georgetown. He'll face off against the 8, 9, and 1 hitters. First pitch from Ropolo, a swing and a miss by Rodriguez. No, it is not Rodriguez. This is a pinch hitter. Number 8, Granger Suarez, steps in here to pinch hit in the bottom of the 5th inning. 0-1 the count to Suarez. The 0-1 pitch in there for a called strike. 0-2 the count to Suarez. Ropolo works out of the stretch. The 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Suarez down on strikes for out number 1. Here in the bottom of the 5th, first strikeout for Ropolo. And now he'll face off against number 11, the designated hitter.
Number 11,
Isaiah Cancino steps in, 0-for-1 in the ball game. Ropolo will come set from the stretch. The first pitch fouled off back to the screen for strike 1. 0-1 the count to Cancino. Cancino back in from the right side. Ropolo gets the sign from Pernica. Comes set, the 0-1 pitch. And a ball popped up on the infield. Ropolo and Pernica back and forth, and Pernica makes a great play. Makes the catch for out number 2. Ropolo kind of gives him a little hug there, like, hey, thanks for saving me. And so 2 quick outs, and now Cedar Creek down to their last out here if they want to extend this ball game. 11-0, Georgetown leads it. The run rule in effect, and now steps in Ethan King, who has one of the 2 Cedar Creek hits tonight. And 1 for 2 in the ball game. Ropolo comes set. First pitch to King is up and in. Some chin music there. Ethan King did a good job of getting out of the way there. A 1-0 pitch. Misses low. Two and 0 the count now to King. The 2-0 pitch fouled off back to the screen. 2-1 now the count to the leadoff man, Ethan King. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. Several defensive changes made by the Eagles here. I know as Leininger went to first base. The 2-1 pitch misses low and outside, ball 3. Ethan King now has a 3-1 count. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. The base is empty. Kyle Ropolo stays in the stretch. Will come set. The 3-1 pitch fouled off back to the screen, and now a full count here. At Cedar Creek down to their last strike. 3 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs. Ethan King, the second baseman, steps back in. Ropolo gets the sign, comes set from the stretch. The 3-2 pitch. Breaking pitch misses just outside for ball 4. And now a 2-out walk has a base runner aboard for the Cedar Creek Eagles. And that'll bring up shortstop number 4, Reynaldo Borrego. Ropolo comes set. A pickoff attempt over to first base to Leininger. Slaps the tag on, but King dives back in safely there. Borrego steps in, 0 for 2 in the ball game. Struck out swinging in the first, struck out looking in the third. King, a good-sized lead off first, held on by Leininger. The first pitch on the outside corner, called strike 1. 0-1 the count to Borrego. Ropolo comes set. The 0-1 pitch just misses for ball one. 1-1 the count now. One ball, one strike, two outs. King leads off first base. The 1-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike two. 1-2 now the count to Reynaldo Borrego. Ropolo looking first. Now comes set. The 1-2 pitch. Strike three called, and that's the ball game. What a job there by Kyle Ropolo. He comes in and strikes out two, facing four batters here in the bottom of the fifth inning. And Georgetown victorious in this one, 11-0 over the Cedar Creek Eagles. We'll not do the interview with Coach Vieira down on the field tonight. We'll save that for Thursday night, live from the Golden Rule, 606 South Church Street. Join us at 6:45 there on the patio. We'll have the Eagle Baseball Coaches Show live for you. Visit with Coach Vieira and some of the players. And then Friday night, Cedar Creek will come over to Georgetown and play game 2 of this series. So come join us there at the Golden Rule Thursday night. Myself, Coach Vieira, live on SHN, and we'll visit with you there. Thanks for joining us tonight. Don't forget, it doesn't cost you a dime to be kind. Georgetown 11, Cedar Creek nothing for the win tonight. Georgetown moves to 9-0 in district play and 14-10-1 on the year. Thanks for joining us tonight. Have a good night, everybody.